Hello, confidence, and welcome back. Vilified by most and adored by some, Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria left behind a complex legacy. He was Colombia's king of cocaine, a man his own government was afraid to touch. He violated the dead, set fire to millions in cash to keep warm, and actually helped the US hunt down Osama bin Laden. Escobar eclipses just about every drug kingpin in history. He started from nothing and in as little as a couple of decades became one of the most powerful men in the world. Along the way, he did some truly staggering things. Here are 15 insane things you didn't know about Pablo Escobar. Welcome to ConfidentCastle.com, the place where you'll always find sensational facts, beautiful rich people, and great entertainment. If you want to make sure to get the next episode, subscribe and click the bell. 1. He was a benefactor. Despite the fact that Pablo was an efficient and vicious criminal, he built the image of a benefactor, a man of the people. Born the son of a farmer in Colombia's second city, Medellin, he often talked about the poverty gap that was all too apparent in Colombia. He used a portion of his wealth to build schools, parks, football stadiums, hospitals, churches, and houses for the disadvantaged, a model that other capos like El Chapo Guzman would follow. 2. He controlled 80% of cocaine business in the world. At the peak of his powers, Pablo's Medellin drug cartel was considered to be in control of 80% of the cocaine that was trafficked in the world. The cartel was smuggling around 15 tons of cocaine per day. Pablo utilized client pilots to smuggle the massive tons of cocaine from Colombia to the US inside the plane's wheels. The cartel also utilized 2 remote-controlled submarines to export the goods undetected and spread the load. 3. He had over 7 nicknames. Pablo had so many nicknames. One that he was popularly known for was the King of Cocaine. However, he was known by different other names in the different drug territories that he controlled. Some of these names included El Doctor, that means the doctor; El Magico, that means the magician; El Padrino, that means the godfather; El Patron, that means the boss; El Señor, that means the lord; El Za de la Cocaína, that means the tar of cocaine; and Don Pablo. 4. He buried his treasure like a pirate. Due to the amount of cash that was coming in per day, about $16 million at the peak of his career, they had to hide the money somewhere. One idea was to use plastic oil drums so that the money could be buried. There were reports in 2012 that a Colombian farmer found over $600 million stashed away in one of these drums. Anyone up for a trip to Colombia with a metal detector? Hey confidence, now that we're deep into the video, if you like this video, please click the thumbs up button. It helps us understand what you like, and it also helps us please the almighty YouTube algorithm. 5. He had so much money, he used to spend $2,500 a month on rubber bands to hold his cash. With a lot of money comes a lot of rubber bands, according to Pablo's accountant and brother, Roberto. He confirmed that Escobar and his cronies spent $2,500 every month on rubber bands just to hold all of their drug money together. Just in case you're wondering, the amount of money I myself have spent on rubber bands to keep my legally earned money together is not so far from that amount. 6. He wrote off more cash than most people earn in their lifetimes. The fact that selling drugs is a cash-only business, he had a lot of trouble hiding it all safely. Just to put things into perspective, a realistic estimation shows that he lost close to $1 billion per year due to natural causes such as water and fire. That was highlighted by his brother Roberto Escobar, who said Pablo would write off 10% of the money because rats would eat it in the storage, or if not, it would be damaged by water or get lost. 7. He heavily invested in one of the biggest football teams in South America. Escobar is believed to have pumped huge sums of money into his local club Atlético Nacional during the late 80s and early 90s. Players like Faustino Asprilla, Andres Escobar, and René Higuita, who pulled off that scorpion kick against England, played with the club at the time. 8. He imported hippos from Africa for his zoo. When Pablo started making megabucks, he decided to build a zoo on his land. In his quest to fill it with exotic animals, he imported a few hippopotami from Africa. When everything fell apart and his property was seized, the animals in the zoo were shared around zoos in Colombia, except for the hippos. They've been multiplying at a fast rate, and it's thought there are now over 100 roaming the marshy grounds where Escobar used to live. 9. He was a cutthroat negotiator. Pablo started his trafficking career in 1975 and fast gained a reputation for his no-nonsense negotiating style. Those who would oppose him were often asked plata or plomo to mean silver or lead. That was him offering the option of bribery or facing death. Many government officials chose the silver option. 10. He was responsible for over 4,000 deaths. Those that didn't take the silver option of his offer were often killed as Pablo made his bloody rise to the top of the drug trade. He remains one of the most ruthless and bloodthirsty gangsters the world has ever seen. Opponents were massacred and assassinations plotted. He blew up the headquarters of the DAS, the Colombian version of the FBI, in order to kill the director. Though exact figures are obviously hard to come by, it's generally accepted as the fact that he murdered up to 4,000 people, including 200 judges and over 1,000 government workers, police officers, and journalists. Hey Confidence, kindly click the subscribe button below to ensure that you get more amazing videos in future. 11. He built his own prison. By 1990, Pablo had gained too many enemies and was under threat of being extradited from Colombia to the United States. He made a deal with the Colombian government to build a custom luxury prison, La Catedral. So Pablo built his own prison and then filled it full of luxuries including a football pitch, a waterfall, and a telescope that allowed him to look directly into his daughter's house when he was on the phone to her. He agreed to serve 5 years in the prison rather than face American justice. As you might have guessed already, he walked out on La Catedral after a year by using a back door. 12. He once burned $2 million to keep his daughter warm. After escaping his luxury prison in 1991, Pablo and his family went to live in his farmhouse on the hills of Medellin, where his daughter soon fell ill with pneumonia. Escobar promptly set light to wads of cash totaling $2 million to ensure that she kept warm enough to get over the illness. 13. He offered to pay off Colombia's national debt. One of the most insane things about Escobar's drug empire was the scale it operated on in the USA. The success of his foreign policy birthed one of Escobar's biggest fears, extradition to the States. Escobar had vowed that he would rather die than spend jail time in North America. To combat any chance of this, he attempted to strike an unbelievable deal with the Colombian authorities. He would personally pay off the Colombian national debt of $10 billion in cash in return for a change on the extradition laws. Needless to say, he received a polite but firm thanks, but no thanks. 14. He was the 7th richest man in the world. So just how much was Pablo Escobar worth in total? Though he once claimed to merely be a decent man who exports flowers, he was estimated to be making up to $16 million per day at the height of the Medellin cartel's powers. When the Forbes list was released in 1989, they estimated his wealth at $25 billion, making him the 7th richest person in the world at the time. As a man who ran a not exactly legitimate business, we can only deal in estimates, but the fact that Escobar once bought a Learjet solely to transport his cash around speaks volumes. 15. He might have killed himself. Escobar was finally cornered by the Colombian National Police in December 1993, after radio triangulation techniques located his hideout in a middle-class area of Medellin. Escobar wasn't to be taken without a struggle, and a fierce firefight between his bodyguard and police ensued. Both criminals were shot as they attempted to flee over rooftops, Escobar in the thigh and torso. His body was found with a gunshot wound above his left ear. Pablo's brothers claimed that the wound was in the precise location that Pablo had vowed to shoot himself if he were ever cornered. He was buried in front of 25,000 mourners. Now let's close business with Pablo's empire because I need to catch myself a flight to Colombia. I might just unearth a few $1 billion to add to my own stack. Tell me in the comment section below which one of these 15 things amused you the most. Thank you for having a good time with me, Confidence. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another episode. And if you have a few more minutes right now, I picked the videos you see on the screen for you to watch next.